What? 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 Bang!
Whoa! Wrestling podcast. Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
Rep through rep.
Yeah!
Woo!
Who are you to doubt El Dan? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Can he do it? Unbelievable!
Too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am the Macho King Savage.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty. I said WWE stands for...
It's me, Austin! I will never retire!
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. Are you sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 for the latest and greatest wrestling game? Stop immediately. Go to Wrestler Unstoppable, available exclusively through Facebook. Create a wrestler, sign contracts, get into storylines, headline PLEs, even build your own corporation from the ground up, all included in Wrestler Unstoppable, available now to all Facebook users, totally free. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, you want your name in the shoutouts like my good buddy John down in Texas. Thanks, John. Always my number one supporter. Pop over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast. Sign up today. We got loyalty rewards. $15 a month contributors get to co-host a show with me. $7.50 a month, you get to be entered into a drawing to also co-host a show. And of course, all Patreons will get mentioned in an episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you've got questions, comments, something you want me to touch on in the future episode, feel free to give me a shout at the Pro Wrestling Sound Off line, 267-642-1160, and we will get to those comments, questions, or concerns in a future episode. Tonight, we've got a couple things for you. We're going to run down the latest wrestling news and rumors, then we're going to get into our end-of-year awards conversation. Let's get started with some good news. It was announced on Friday, Rob Van Dam, a new father. He and his wife have brought a pair of twin young ladies into the world. He and his wife, Katie Forbes, had twins named Karma and Saba. Saba named after his very good, his late friend Sabu, who passed away earlier this year. Congratulations to the Van Dam family. It's a beautiful thing. Great way to end 2025 heading into 2026. As we move on from there, there's wrestling going on as we speak, but we got to touch on a couple things from throughout the week because it's been a hot minute since we've done an episode. Got to be honest, man. AEW World's End, decent show. Not the best show in the history of life, not going to lie. I really wonder sometimes what Tony Khan's doing with some of his talent. Like, you have this 0-hour pre-show where you put Eddie Kingston into a basic throwaway match against Zach Gibson. No disrespect to Zach Gibson, but Eddie Kingston's the kind of guy he's just not enough brought up in the World Championship picture, but I think the fans are behind him enough. That's a guy who deserves to be on your main card. He wins his match, which is fine and totally expected, but I really feel like I don't understand what they're doing with him and where they see him position-wise in the company. Now, the cool part about the match, Ortiz returned to the company and came out and was on his side at the end of the thing. That's great. That's the kind of return you should see on the main show, not on this 0-hour pre-show. The rest of the show wasn't terrible. I thought they had decent matches. Everything from the Jurassic Express Jet Speed match was fantastic. I thought the Okada Takeshita match was, oh my gosh, those two are meant for each other. Okada picked up the win. Moxley faced Kyle Fletcher in the semifinals. That is the one that's been getting all the controversy this week, courtesy of Jon Moxley performing a top rope, almost like reverse suplex, but dropped Kyle Fletcher right on his head. This is the move that led to William Regal being critical of modern wrestling and not being as safe in the ring. It was nice to see Kenny Omega kind of back up William Regal about how serious these things can be. Regal, I think, was trying to be helpful. But some of these moves, and it did nothing for the match. It's not not even like it was the finish to the match. It was a very dangerous move. Watching it back, it is very scary to see how Kyle Fletcher lands. And this is a guy who probably is the future of the company. Probably don't want to be putting his life and career on the line for an inconsequential move in a match where they had bigger things planned later. Most of the other matches, I think everybody kind of expected FTR was going to retain. I don't think they're going to lose anything anytime soon. Babes of Wrath against Athena and Mercedes Moné was a decent match, leading to what looks like some dissension between Athena and Monet, which clearly will lead to a match at some kind. I think that they're holding off on making Monet the AEW Women's World Champion because I think they're going to have her be the one to take the championship off of Athena in Ring of Honor now that she's had that championship for, 3 years at this point, just about. So interesting stuff. Gabe Kidd, Darby Allin, solid match, I suppose. I think it could have gone longer. I hate to say that about an AEW match because their shows already run pretty long to begin with. But you needed to give Darby Allin something powerful. And we're going to get back into Gabe Kidd in a minute because he's a part of other conversation for the evening. The Tony Storm, Mark Briscoe, Roderick Strong, Orange Cassidy match against the Death Riders that's the one that you're seeing a lot of internet views because of the Tony Storm, Orange Cassidy dancing segment from the match. Got huge views online. Totally hilarious. Not very realistic if you really think about it, but if you're going for sheer entertainment value, it was very funny. I thought it was fantastic. Women's Championship was a solid match. Statlander was the one that goes over, but again, great match. Okada and Moxley in the finals of the Classic. This one here, I almost expected them to let Okada win again because Moxley just had the AEW World Championship, and instead he is the new AEW Continental Champion. Don't know how I feel about it. If you go to their website, they've now split that unified world title. It's no longer unified. So with Okada losing, he's still the international champion, but no longer the Continental Champion, which is very strange. Like, the booking of this has been very weird. And then, of course, we saw MJF take the World Championship in the last match of the show, which I think is fantastic because it leads into what we've seen the rest of the week. MJF is back to being his super confident self. Tonight, he brought back the Triple B, which I think is valuable and something we should see. But at the end of the day, we need to see what he's going to do moving forward. There's a lot of people at the top of the card, and I'm curious to see where they go from here. You've got Swerve, you've got Hangman, you've got now tonight Kenny Omega putting himself in the mix. You still have unsolved, unfinished business with the Ops, so it's clouded at the top of the card, especially when you have people like Eddie Kingston who you're not even putting at the top of the card. So I have to keep an eye on it, but I do think MJF putting the championship on him was the right thing to do. Though I hated the way they played off the whole Bandito winning the Diamond Ring and how that's going to play out because it was so telegraphed. It was terrible planning on Tony's part, but whatever. It's his company. I'm tired of critiquing Tony Khan on how he does things. I don't own a company, even though I wish I could. Moving into other news, AEW star Danhausen, his contract is going to be up apparently in February. Fightful Select adding that when his contract is up, there's strong interest from WWE to potentially sign him for the NXT brand, where he could be the quote is a carefree boogeyman, which I think would be perfect for that brand. I think he would obviously love to be a main roster star at some point, but certainly worth the conversation. Other returns, everybody in the world talking about Chris Jericho. Is he coming back to WWE? Is he going to stay in AEW? I think everybody is leaning towards WWE. Diamond Dallas Page even claimed that he would put $100,000 on the fact that he thinks he's going back to WWE. But the big thing is, and I actually agree with that, where? Is it going to be at the Royal Rumble? That would be where everybody would prefer, I think, to see him. However, the word coming out now is that he may be back as early as the first Raw on Netflix for 2026 because they're really trying to build that show as a shocker or surprise thing, almost like a PLE every year. And that may be where we get him instead of waiting all the way till the Rumble. Now, of course, he'll be in the Rumble either way. But I really think they're missing the boat if they bring him back just for that one show to pop a rating on one episode. I think you get that shock Rumble return, even though people are expecting it, and I think it would go over better with the fans. That's just my opinion. Back to what we were talking about earlier with Gabe Kidd, and not just Gabe Kidd, but also Clark Connors. Both of their IWGP or New Japan contracts are coming due, set to expire in late January, which this has become a theme with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Their talents, their contracts always seem to run out towards the end of the early part of the start of the next year, and then New Japan gets upset because they often will seek out greener pastures elsewhere. It's happened with talents multiple times over the years, both at WWE and AEW. You know, whether it's Okada, Ospreay, or you go to WWE where you had the Gorillas of Destiny, things like that. It's just, it always seems to happen this time of year, and New Japan's got to figure that out. They really do. Start signing people to 1.5-year contracts or things like that, because when you have your big shows end at the beginning of January each year, and then right after that is the Royal Rumble, you're begging WWE come knocking for any of your free agents. Now, we reported on our last episode that WWE's kind of in a hiring freeze right now, but adding Gabe Kidd or Clark Connors would be a huge get for anybody. I do expect them to go to AEW. I really do. Certainly Gabe Kidd based on everything he's done previously, but we really don't know. So we're going to have to wait and see. Backstage update on Dominic Mysterio. Apparently hurt his shoulder. Not as severe as Seth Rollins. They're calling this a 3 to 4 week injury, so he should be back in plenty of time for the Royal Rumble. But definitely thrilled that it's not a more serious issue. Somebody who has had a serious issue has been Chad Gable, who is ready to return. He will be back within a month. I believe we're going to see him at the Royal Rumble coming out as El Grande Americano and having a face-off with the current El Grande Americano. I would not be surprised to see him get eliminated by El Grande and then come back out as Chad Gable and eliminate El Grande, which I think would be a very cool way to do that. But he is definitely, especially according to Fightful Select, they are reporting that in WWE, they claim Gable is slated to return to the promotion within the next month. That's a quote from them. It'll be great to see him. Congratulations have to go out to Maxine Dupree. She and her real-life partner, Anthony Luke, tied the knot literally today. Congratulations on their wedding. They got married in a beautiful December 31st ceremony in Florida, so that's awesome for them. If people became familiar with them from watching LFG, on LFG, the two were, they announced how the two were a couple months ago. Great to see them moving forward in their relationship. It's a beautiful thing. New Year's Smash results, they're going on right now. While they're going on, got to touch on NXT from Tuesday night. I hate what they're doing with Javon Evans and Ricky Saints. At this point, Javon Evans really hasn't won a whole lot in quite a while. He called his shot the one time, and that didn't really do much for him. But prior to that, he's been involved in a lot of tag team things where he's been successful. But these singles matches, whether it's Obafemi, Ricky Saints, whatever, and I understand there's interference, there's shady business in the match, but I don't like seeing him get beat if he is indeed making a move to the main roster. I do love the fact that Ethan Page retained his championship over Moose, but I would have loved to have seen an NXT, or a TNA star win a WWE championship. I mean, if you think about it, Ethan Page has a AAA, half of their mixed tag team championship right now, an NXT title. He could have lost that to Moose, who's a TNA star. Think about the web of insanity that presents. I just think it would have been a little better way for them to handle it. I think the rest of NXT this week was pretty solid. I mean, let's be honest, that brand is really the go-to brand right now in all of wrestling programming. I think they're doing it the best. Don't like seeing Javon Evans lose, but I'm a little biased. I think he's the future of the business potentially. He and Leon Slater. So we're gonna have to wait and see how those things play out. As I said earlier, New Year's Smash is still going on for a few more minutes at least. But at least the early results, we did see another one of those tornado things. Marina Shafir, Daniel Garcia, and Claudio Castagnoli picking up a win in their tornado 6-man tag. The match with Bandito and Beast Mortos, like Sammy Guevara's at ringside. How far he has fallen. He used to be a guy who you thought was going to be a world champion one day, and now he's a sidekick and never gets on television. Like, what a waste of an incredibly talented young man. Brody King picking up a singles win tonight. Great for him. I really wish they'd push him significantly more. The Moxley-Josh Alexander Eliminator match for the Continental Championship makes no sense to me. The dude just went through an entire tournament to win the belt, and then you just got to win one match to get a shot at the belt. Seems so ridiculous and crazy to me. Now, Moxley wins tonight, which is fine. And then they tease something with Shelton Benjamin and MVP appearing on the ramp to stare down Moxley. I'm sure that'll lead to something, and we'll have to wait and see what that is. But hopefully at some point it becomes Bobby Lashley and Jon Moxley. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Ricochet defended his championship against Jack Perry, the AEW National Championship. Ricochet retaining the championship. I didn't think anybody will be taking that belt for a few more months because they want to make it seem as pertinent and relevant as possible. All in all, and that's where I have spoilers to up till this point. The matches that have been come out so far tonight. I'm sure they're wrapping up their main event as we speak. But at the end of the day, solid show. There's a lot to talk about, but to close out the year, I love that AEW is still putting out a quality product right up to the last minute, putting on some really cool matches, and nothing too super consequential. I think that's a good thing. I do love the injection of Kenny Omega back into the World Championship picture, though I do think with his limited schedule, he and the Young Bucks should be going for 6-man tag team championship and hold off on Kenny Omega in the World Championship picture until you're ready to give him the belt. But that's neither here nor there. Briefly, let's go into our end-of-year awards. This is what this episode is supposed to focus on towards the end here. Let's get into it. I don't want to waste any time. This year, Rookie of the Year, and when I say rookie, I'm not talking about somebody who's been on the independents for 10 years and is just getting their chance at the big time. Their actual Rookie of the Year, for me, is a person who joined the business this year. And this year, it's hard to argue that Jasper Troy, the current WWE Speed Champion and the winner of LFG Season 1, has to be my Rookie of the Year. Did a great job on LFG. He made an instant impact when he got to NXT, and he has just been, in all honesty, with his limited time in the ring, has been phenomenal. I really respect everything he's done. So Jasper Troy gets the Pro Wrestling Podcast Rookie of the Year award. For the Feud of the Year, I had a lot of thoughts about this. I had a couple people who I had spoken to about doing the end of year awards. Look, I'm not going to go award to award and name a bunch of nominees. I'm just going to give you my calls for these, okay? And it's totally arbitrary, my opinion, so I apologize if you don't like that. But look, I try to be as judicial as I can and be fair. But I got to think about things that impact the industry, draw fans, and all that kind of stuff, and really make sense. I believe that one of the feuds that could have been even bigger than it was throughout the whole year, I feel like so many feuds came and went, but one lasted the entire year, and that would be Darby Allin and Jon Moxley. The feud started actually last year, lasted pretty much all year this year, in some ways still isn't totally resolved. I have selected that as the feud of the year. I think they've just done so much. And despite the fact that Darby Allin had, issues early in the year and did his Mount Everest thing, they kept the program alive, and it really has delivered every time they've been out there. Some crazy, crazy stuff those two were able to do. Let's see, let's go down to the Return of the Year. I think this one doesn't surprise anybody. The Return of the Year this year has to be AJ Lee, with that significant absence, coming back, jumping right back in, looking like $1,000,000, looking like she never missed a day in the ring. Absolutely, AJ Lee is the Return of the Year for the Pro Wrestling Podcast. For the Moment of the Year, I don't think anybody would argue too much about this. The Moment of the Year, for me, John Cena's heel turn at Elimination Chamber, the best moment of 2025. In terms of Faction of the Year is difficult. There are so many you could go with, but to be quite honest with you, to me, the one that has been involved in the most things, and not just in one company, technically across 3 brands, being AEW, Ring of Honor, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, is the Don Callis family winning Faction of the Year, especially when you think about the accomplishments of Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita. It has been a great year for the Don Callis family, so congratulations to them on winning that award. For Tag Team of the Year, this may shock some people, but when you look back at all the tag teams, there has only, in my opinion, been one solid go-to full-year tag team that has been in pretty much every feud within their division, and that would be the Tag Team of the Year, the Kabuki Warriors. Yes, I understand it's a women's tag team, but that's how we roll here. It is a great opportunity to see great wrestling every time those two are out there, and I think they've told great stories all year, so congrats to the Kabuki Warriors. To the Most Hated Wrestler of the Year. This one, I've heard people, I listened to Busted Open where they gave that same award to Becky Lynch. I disagree from a basic standpoint. The winner of my award for the Pro Wrestling Podcast Most Hated Wrestler of the Year is Jon Moxley, if for no other reason, for locking down the AEW Championship for the majority of the year and depriving the fans of being able to see a championship. In a lot of ways, doing what John Cena threatened to do, walking away with the belt for almost a year, I thought was bad for business. I really do. So legit heat with me and Jon Moxley, even though I think he's a phenomenal talent. Let's go to Favorite Wrestler of the Year. I hope this doesn't shock anybody, but what I'm listing as the favorite wrestler of the year is Rhea Ripley. I think she is the one person who gets that reaction, male, female talent, or otherwise. She is the premium talent in WWE right now in terms of fan reaction. I don't think anybody gets a bigger pop when they come out, and it never gets old. It's always the same. Great entrance music, singing herself to the ring, even the stuff she does with EO, it's all been fantastic. For Gimmick of the Year, I really had to think about this because I've done these awards before, and this one, This was tough for me, but honestly, I'm going to give it to somebody who maybe is a surprise to some, but Chelsea Green and the Secret Hervis. Look, there have been a lot of silly gimmicks throughout the year, but people don't always lean into them. Chelsea Green leans into whatever character she's performing, and she has leaned into this all year. And the Secret Hervis has had to evolve with injuries to Piper Niven and their success and failure rate throughout the year. You got to give them their flowers. Great year for them. The 2 United States Championship wins. What a great year for Chelsea Green and anybody associated with her. For Manager of the Year, kind of piggybacking on what I said earlier, Manager of the Year for the Pro Wrestling Podcast 2025 is Don Callis. How could he not be when he's the leader of the best faction? Of course, Paul Heyman was very close in my opinion. I thought about it, but he's just not enough. It just wasn't enough. Not when you're turning your back on 2 guys. That doesn't make you the best manager. And I get it. You create a new faction, but you already lost the leader of that faction. In the current faction you have, your 2 guys weren't even in the match to determine a new champion. I get it. It's all booking and it's all, kayfabe, but storyline plays out here too. Don Callis, consistent, great on the mic, great as a manager, great overall. He is the winner of Manager of the Year. For Match of the Year, highly controversial if you ask me. I've listened to multiple shows online and everybody debates and comes down to different answers for this. For the Pro Wrestling Podcast, Match of the Year, it goes to Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. And why not? The 2 of them, the 3 of those ladies just absolutely tore the house down. What a phenomenal match. Easily the best match in my opinion at WrestleMania. They win Match of the Year. That brings us to our Female Talent of the Year. And this one, again, I have people who will vehemently disagree with me, but I look at total presentation. Coming into a brand, maximizing your opportunities on the brand, then moving to the main roster, and in short order, winning a massive match at a all-women's pay-per-view, and then walking out at the end of the year and having multiple defenses of the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. The 2025 Female Wrestler of the Year for the Pro Wrestling Podcast is Stephanie Vaquer. I think she has done the best job in the division. Now, don't get me wrong. Io Sky, I think, is the most talented performer, possibly male or female, in the world right now. But she did not accomplish as much this year. That's where the difference is for me. Vaquer has accomplished multiple accolades and put herself in position to be debated as one of the greatest in the business right now. So congratulations to Stephanie Vaquer on everything she's accomplished this year. And this one, last award of the night, the Male Wrestler of the Year. And look, you can hate my choice for this, but I'm going to justify it saying it this way. Nobody ever has drawn so much, so often, in so many places, for so many different reasons, whether it be an appearance at the Royal Rumble and a last opportunity to get into a main event at WrestleMania at the Elimination Chamber, being in the main event at WrestleMania, be the heel turn, everything they did throughout the heel turn, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm sure he wasn't the only one booking that stuff. He's made as much chicken salad as he could out of chicken something else. I won't say it on air because I have kids that listen. And then going back to being a babyface, graciously losing his championship at SummerSlam, getting obliterated by Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza, going in and having great matches with people like Logan Paul, Dominic Mysterio, finally getting the Grand Slam Championship run with the Intercontinental Championship, and then closing out the year with the most frustrating loss, but most anticipated and watched, basically a house show, but a Saturday Night's Main Event of all time. The Male Wrestler of the Year for Pro Wrestling Podcast 2025 is John Cena, and I think that is directly linked to everything he did this year. I think he earned that opportunity. He earned that right with everything he brought to the business, whether you go with merchandise sales, ticket pricing, in live event attendance whenever he was advertised to be there. How can you argue the impact John Cena had this year? And the fact that he got to bring it full circle and go back to being a babyface and all that, even influencing people like Ron the Truth Killings, coming back as an alternate character when he was let go by WWE or let his contract expire, getting in 2 matches with Killings before the end of his going away tour, having classic matches all over again with CM Punk, Randy Orton, going out there and having that crazy tag team match with Logan Paul, which went over quite well, to be perfectly honest with you. The incredible rematch with Cody Rhodes, just everything. And how do you argue with, in my opinion, the runner-up for best match of the year? the phenomenal match, no pun intended, between John Cena and AJ Styles. Like, what a great way to end your career. I think he checked off as many boxes as I think they would allow him to do. And how can you not give kudos to John Cena? So congratulations, John Cena, 2025 Pro Wrestling Podcast Male Wrestler of the Year. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode. We run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks as always to Suno AI for generating the music and sound effects we use in our show. Today's show is sponsored in part by Beazle Games. Bring a new friend to family game night. It's easy with sketchy people. Showcase your artistic side in this game from Beazle Games by going to thegamecrafter.com and picking up your copy today. If you're looking for your next career move, you're considering college or university life, maybe you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to our website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life Educational Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking a few moments with us tonight. Until next time, couple things. One, support indie wrestling. I will be out there with 3WA January 10th defending the Eisenhower Heavyweight Championship against JT Cage in a hardcore match, the first hardcore match of my career. Please come on out and support us. It is a fundraiser for the school. I'd love to see you there. And you know, bring as many eyes to that opportunity as possible. And last, thank you everybody who tuned in all year of 2025. It's been a phenomenal year. It is December 31st. We are under 2 hours from the new year. Have a great new year. Be safe. Don't go out there driving. All the crazies are going to be out tonight, but have a great time. Thank you for tuning into the show. We really appreciate every one of you who tunes into every single episode. Take care, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll see you next year.
Wrestling Podcast.